Hello you, it's Josh here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'll be once again showing you how to build this beautiful entrance in Theme Park Tycoon 2. Now this is actually continuing on from the last episode in this little mini series where I show you how to build this entrance. So if you haven't already, I recommend going and watching that video using the iCard in the top right of the video. But if you've already done that, well, I reckon we just get straight into it right here without further ado.
Okay, so let's get started on our side. We're gonna grab a primitive cuboid wall right here, and we're just gonna place one in right next to our pole. We're just on half snapping, by the way, and we're just gonna place the second one in like so, and after leaving a nice 2 gap right here, because that's gonna be where our door goes right here, which you can have for like a customer service or something like that. And then we're just gonna go into a quarter snapping right here, and we're just gonna place in one of these primitive cuboid walls, but we only want to place a half one in. Of course, we're gonna bring that all the way down right here, because this is gonna now be going down a little bit here. And I guess we now should get this painted. So we're gonna get our grey like so, and we want to use cobblestone for our base right here. Now you can use whatever you want. Sometimes I'd even use pebbles or concrete or something like that, but seeing as we're using that for the path, it would seem a bit ridiculous, and I think it fits in quite well with our color scheme that we've got here and with the overall wood theme really. Anyway, so now what we're going to do is do our upper half right here and actually get this side piece. So we're just going to place these in like so, pretty simple, and then we're going to get our walls. Now these walls need to go by 3 extra right like that, and we want to of course just paint in the same wood that we've used over here. We're just going to paint those 3 up like that, and on the other side too, we're going to paint that all the way up there, and we're going to get our primitive walls. There's just half ones right here, and again around this corner, and we're just going to bring these up by 3. Now of course we don't need our door to go all the way up by those extra 3 right there, so we're going to bring it across just at this top right like so, which will give us the nice space for our doorway. Okay, and now it's time to do the needlessly hard roof right here. So what we want to start off by doing is getting our roof, just the same ones we've used over here, and we want to just place that in, not place it in, but we want to get our precision build mode and just place that right here. Now if we go into our quarter snapping right here, we can just bring this across by 2, and you can see that now sticks out lovely like so. Now what we then want to do after that piece right here, as you can see, what we want to do right here is I want to just bring this across by a half, which will bring that like that, and we want to then place in our corner roof like so. We then want to rotate this round, and if we just go on to default snapping to make this a little bit easier, we want to leave a 1 gap and just bring that like that, which means that our roofs should now be symmetrical here. And then of course we want to get in our actual, you know, our straight bits of the roof right here, so making sure we're on, I think, half, yeah, vertical snapping right here. We just want to place that in, and we just want to place in the other side as well. You don't even have to use the advanced editor right here. You can just place those in like that. Of course they need to be painted right here, and then we can bring across these going over to the other side. These can just go into, you know, like 2 more like this or whatever into the wall, because we're going to add in our lovely towers eventually. But now we've got an even more difficult roof to do. Yeah, I know, it's really fun. So what we're going to do right here is just grab one of our roofs, and we want to bring it up on half snapping right here, up 1, 2, 3 like so, and then just 1 backwards. Why is this part so difficult? I don't know, honestly. My brain is just really small, I guess. But we're just going to bring it across by a half like so, and because this just doesn't really matter, we'll just leave it all the way to the edge right there, and we're just going to go on our default snapping and just bring this going all the way along like so, just going into our roof like that. We can always remove that later, you know, it's not the end of the world, it's not there permanently. But now we've got that in, you can see we now need to add in our wall, which is just bundles and bundles of joy and fun, because then what we want to do is, as you can see right here on default, we just want to bring it back by a half like so, which we'll do over here right now. So we're just going to go in right here, we'll bring this up, bring it back by a half, and then if we just go into our quarter snapping, we can literally just bring this up perfectly like so, and then with our normal wall, we'll bring it all the way along until we get to our other side right here, which we'll just connect in with these walls right here. We can literally just extend this over by a little bit using this wall right here. We might as well, and that'll connect that all in. We can even remove that piece right there, and yeah, now we just need to paint all of this really lovely brown color like so. We need to actually add in some bars right here to make sure that we haven't got any pokey holes right here, because pokey holes normally don't make a build very good. So we're gonna bring this up like here, and we'll just bring these going all the way along right here. Okay, so I hope you're sticking with me now, because what we're now going to do is get our primitive cuboid cuboids, and we're just going to, on half vertical snapping on an 8 horizontal, we're just going to bring that down by a half. I'm just going to place it in like so. We're going to do that on all of these pillars over here, because then what we also want to do is if we just come over here, we want to add these in right here. We're just going to bring them up by another half, and we're just going to place these on these corners, and we're going to do the exact same on this part right here, because we want to bring up all of these poles going up, of course. So wherever we have poles, we're going to have these, and we obviously need to bring it down all the way to the bottom. So now we can actually put in our poles. So we're going to get our primitive cylinders, and we can now just bring these going all the way up. On these corners, we're absolutely fine just to do it on normal because of how they actually work, but on these corner pieces, you'll see that if we try and place this third one in, it's going to slightly peek through. So we're going to go on to our precision build mode and just move it down on no snapping until it doesn't peek through. Luckily, we can use that on a lot of these right here, so we won't really have to do that again. Okay, so it's time for more beams. Yes, I know you absolutely love beams, don't you? So what we're going to do right here is we're just going to click on here, and we want to just bring this up by 3 1/4 snapping, so that we bring it up to about here. I'm going to rotate this round to 45 degrees like so. And now what we want to do is just go onto our default snapping and bring this all the way to the edge, so it's sticking out a little bit like that. And then we want to just bring this going all the way along right here. Next, then what we want to do is just bring this around by 45 degrees, and then we can bring this on half snapping just out until right here. Now it should slightly poke through just a little bit, as you can see right here. And we're just going to bring these on every single one of these poles right here. Of course, this is where the tower's going to be, so we don't need to worry about that. Okay, and so for our little corner pieces right here, this is quite difficult, and I've had to retake this about 1,000 times right here, but we're just going to go into here and get our primitive cuboid pole, bring it down by 1/4 and rotate it by 45 degrees. Then what we can do is just bring it out until it sticks through like that, and we can just bring these along on every single one. Now, actually, that isn't exactly how we do it right here, because on this one, they actually stick through, but this is way more complicated to make it stick through, and I mean, it does add a little bit to it, but honestly, this also looks fine, and it's about 1,000 times easier, so we're going to go with this instead. And now we've got all those poles in like so, but now we want to get our little thingy right here, which connects all the roofs together. So what we want to do exactly is go into here, get our primitive cuboid pole thingy, rotate around by 45 degrees, and on a 1/4 snapping right here, we just want to bring this out by 1. And then what we're going to do is just connect that right there, and we're just going to bring it going all the way along until it connects into this other one. And then on a half snapping, we can bring this round, rotate it, and we just want to get this in perfectly just so it doesn't stick through. So we want to just bring this down until it doesn't stick through there. Although, of course, we need to be careful because we don't want to stick it through the bottom. But there we go. We've now got that in. We can just place that. And if we just color all this wood, it's now going to start looking quite nice, especially after we get this in here. So we're just going to rotate this by 45 degrees, and just like we did on these ones over here. So you probably already know how to do this. We're going to just bring these up right here, and we're going to go 45 degrees and 45 degrees. Now, the weird thing about this one is that because we haven't got these poles to go into, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to connect these in. So we just want to go on to no snapping, and we're just going to bring these until it's not showing through on each of these right here. And right now we've got a bit of a hole right here, so we're just going to plug this up with some primitive wall thingy dingies right here. So we'll place that like that, rotate it around, and we'll place it on the other side too. And so now to actually finish off this little bit right here, what we need to do is add in our roof trims and our edges around the door right here. So we're just going to get this roof trim right like this, bring it up, and we're just going to place this going all the way around this edge right here, just between the wood and the actual finger right here. I'm just going to paint that the same wood that we've been using for these cylinders right here, which gives us this little bit of thing. And then for our door, we just want to go into primitives, go and get our pole right here, and then we can just place this in just basically anywhere on advanced mode right here. And if we just bring it on a 1/4 snapping, we can actually bring that like that and across like that. We're going to bring it up so that it can actually just connect into the top like that basically. And then on a half snapping, we can just rotate this by 45 degrees, and that should all line up perfectly as long as you've done it right. And there we go. And we also just want to add them down at the bottom, because now what we're going to do right here, we're going to add in our lovely actual door frame right here, because right now we're kind of missing the door part of the door. So we're going to add in these poles going on either side like this, and there you go. We just want to add in our, little cut through. So we're going to add one there, and there's your door. Now, something to keep in mind right here is on our actual one over here, I have made the sides a little bit shorter, because then you get a bit of a smaller door on this one. But I'm just going to make this a little bit easier and simpler for you guys. But if you really want to, you can actually just move it by 1/4 in like this, and it'll make it a bit bigger of a door. But really, it depends on the sort of size door you want. And to be honest, I think this is a realistic size door, But once we've painted all of our door in this black right here, we've now got our entire door frame, and we just want to add in some glass panels to, you know, actually make it so that you can't walk through the glass part, because that kind of ruins it when you can, you know, just walk through the glass part. So we're just gonna add these in like this. We need to just make sure we go on a half snapping right here so we can actually get this in, and like so. And then you can see now we cannot walk through the window parts, which is always quite helpful.
Now we've got this entire section sorted out right here. What we next want to do is this little ticket booth area right here. Luckily this one is pretty simple, so shouldn't take too long. But what we want to do is just first of all grab this wall right here. We want to paint it the same sort of cobblestone that we've got right here with the same color, and we just want to place in 3 like so, and then just place in one of these smaller ones on a quarter snapping like so. Make sure you paint all of that, and then what we want to do is do the exact same thing but with wood, and we just want to bring up 3 pieces of wood like so, including of course this little half one right here. Now in my design, what we want to do here is just place in a wall like so, and then we can just bring this back another 3.5 like so. So we can basically just do the exact same thing that we did on this side, but just bring it around here. And there we go, that's all painted. Now what we want to do is of course add in our roof. So we're just going to grab the same roof that we've been using everywhere else here, and we just want to bring it in about halfway. And what we want to do is just go on a quarter vertical snapping and just bring that down until it's not poking through, that wall's not poking through right there. And of course bring that all the way across, and we can do that on the other side too. If you're wondering about how much to poke out your roof, if we're just on a quarter snapping right here, if you come from this wall, we just want to bring it out by 1 more like so. And there we go. Of course what we now want to do is add in these little corner poles right here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to get these poles right here, and we're going to go onto an 8th snapping right here and place one right here, one right here, and then of course we want to place in our circular cylinder primitive pole thingies. Now this is a little bit difficult of course because we don't want it to stick through the roof, so what I recommend doing is just going down to precision build mode and just raising that up until it starts to show through, like about there. And then of course we just want to place in the exact same thing on this other one right here. I've also added a second one of these poles about halfway through right here. So what we want to do is just go into here by holding shift and click on the eyedropper thingy picker tool, and we just want to go 1, 2, 3 across, and then just on half snapping go 1 more along. And then of course we just want to place in our poles and all that stuff like so. Now I haven't actually placed one of these on the back, but you can do so if you want. And now what we want to do is just bring in our little roof trims right here, and we're going to bring those all the way along, like you could probably guess we're going to do right here. So we're just going to bring those going all the way along our bottom like so, and all the way along the sides of course. What I recommend doing is actually making sure that these are tucked in right here, because when we get to building something inside of here like a gift shop or like information or something like that, you don't want to have things poking through of course. And one last roof trim to place in, we just want to place this one right here but at the top like so. We may want to go into actual precision build mode right here and just slightly lower that down right there so it fits and it doesn't poke through, and there you go. And to plug this little gap right here, we just want to grab this little gable wall wooden thingy filler right here, and we just want to place that in like so, and of course paint that to this color wood, you know, the wood that we've been using everywhere, and there you go. I told you this was simple, didn't I? We're almost done with it already. So what we now want to do is just grab these windows right here. They're just these sort of windows, and with these windows right here, which we just want to paint this color, and black like so, we just want to place in our first one right here using precision build mode, and we just want to raise that up by 1/4 like so, and then go into a half snapping and bring these along 1, 2, 3 like so, and then we want to get it over here by going 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again just 1, 2, 3 like so, and we can place that in there. So now to place in these little roofs right here, what we want to do is just go into eyedropper, grab this right here and go down by 1 in default snapping, and then using 1/4 snapping we want to bring this along until it's just about touching the edge of these poles right here, and we want to do that on this side too and do the exact same thing over here. We do want to leave this little gap right here because of course there is no pole here, but just imagine there is a pole, and yeah. And next what we want to do is just grab one of these primitive poles like so, go into precision build mode, and then what we want to do is basically just position this in right here. Now this is a little bit difficult and you're just gonna have to do a bit of trial and error right here, but eventually you'll get it like so. I do recommend you go into no snapping and just bring this down and around like so, although that's completely up to you because I know that's a little bit more advanced and you may not be able to do that, but if we want to do that, if you want to do that you can. And then we just want to bring these poles going all the way along like so. And for our diagonals right here, all we want to do is just go in here, go on 1/4 snapping and bring that in just a little bit, rotate this round by 45 degrees and then bring that out by 1 like so, bring that down by 1/4, and we can just place those in on every single one of those poles. Make sure you paint them with the wood, and there you go. So now to tackle this section over here, what we first want to do is just grab this right here here, and we're just gonna bring this over by 1 and then 2 like so. We can bring that going all the way down to the ground like so. We want to paint these bottom two with cobblestone, just like we have done over here. And then to fill in these little gaps right here, what we're going to do is just bring this up like so, and then over by 1/4 until that lines up like that. Now we basically want to duplicate what we're doing over here on this other side pretty much, as you can see here, just a couple little differences. So as you can see, what we did here is we went over by 1, 2 on a 1/4 snapping. So we want to do the exact same over here, just go over by 1, 2, and then we just want to bring this up using these bars right here until we get to this point right here. So we just want to place 2 of these bars like so. I'm going to leave this gap right here because we're going to build this tower, although if you really want to, you can fill it in. And then to complete this off right here, we want to just grab one of these pieces right here, rotate it round, and bring it up by just 1 more 1/4. We want to place this in the exact same way right here, and just we want to place 1 more in the middle by moving it over by 2 and up by 1 on a 1/4 snapping like so, and just paint that all. And now what we want to do is of course bring this roof onto the other side so that we can connect it all up. So this is actually pretty easy. Just go onto 45 degrees snapping and onto a 1/4 snapping right here, and just bring this around like so. In fact, I think we can just go onto a default snapping right here if I'm right. But basically, yeah, we can probably go onto a default snapping, I think, here, and just bring this along. Yes, we can, and just place that in like so. And then to get to this peak right here, we're obviously gonna have to go into a 1/4 snapping, but we're just gonna bring this down, connect that in like so, and do the exact same thing on the other side here. And then if we just bring this roof going all the way along, I'm just gonna use 2 snapping right here just because it's a bit easier, but if we just bring this going all the way along like so, things are now starting to actually connect up. For example, we can now start to connect up this roof right here for our big main section right here. We can start to connect this up with this roof over here, and it'll all start to, you know, make a bit more sense. We also want to copy the roof that we've got over here onto that other side, which again we can just do using default snapping right here. So if we just rotate this round, we can bring it over and just place 1 in like so, and then we can bring that along. It doesn't matter how long for now because we're going to mess around here doing this little thing here eventually, but for now you could just bring that as long as you'd like. And now what we want to do is add in our poles that go up here. So just grab this pole, and on a 1/4 snapping, let's bring that along like so, and just place in 1 like that and 1 like that. And then to get our little, you know, horizontal pieces right here, we just want to bring in our pole, but we want to bring it down so that it's not quite poking through. There's no perfect way to do this, and you're just gonna have to play around with it, to be honest, because, you know, it's a little bit difficult right here with this. But if you just place it in, eventually you'll get a nice little spot, and you can bring that going all the way along. And of course we want to then just duplicate what we're doing over here with these poles and bring them over on this side too, because of course this side needs to look the same as this side. A little tip right here when you're copying this over is this is a bit of a difficult piece right here. So what I've done is I've just put it on global snapping, and then if we rotate this around, we can literally just move this over like so without having many difficulties at all. And it means that we don't have to, you know, mess around try and relining that up, and I don't have to go through it all again. So it makes our life a little bit easier. And of course just place in your poles right here down at the bottom, and then that's that all sorted. And there we go. Our entrance is starting to look nice and solid now, which is, it's good to see, isn't it? What we're now going to do is chuck in this little tower right here, which should connect this all up. So of course we want to firstly grab our wall like so, and if we just come from this point right here, this wall right here, we could just bring this out by 1/2. And if we bring that coming all the way down from the bottom, we don't need precision build mode right now, we could just bring this up right here till this point right here. So you want to bring it 1, 2, 3 like so, and then we want to bring in our 1/2 pieces, of course, on a 1/4 snapping, and just fill in those from the side as well. Make sure to paint them all up, and then of course as usual what we want to do is add it in our poles going around the edge right here. So we just want to grab our cylinders, and on a 1/4 snapping right here, we just want to bring this going all the way from the top down to the bottom. It doesn't quite go all the way down, so what you can do right here actually is just grab one of these tiny little cylinders right here, and if you go onto a 1/4 vertical snapping, you can just bring in 1 like that without it kind of, you know, without it not being too disruptive to the underneath, so it doesn't look too much of a mess from down below. You can also mess around on no snapping and make it perfect, but hey, I'm doing a tutorial, not a not a speed build, so yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be good enough. For our little pyramid roof right here, this is actually a lot simpler than it looks. So what we want to do is just grab in our primitive pyramid right here, and we just want to place this on right here using our precision build mode, and we just want to bring this out on a 1/4 out by 1, 2 like so, 1, 2 like so, and we want to place that in right like that, and we want to do the exact same right here. And you can see the gap between these right here is just 1, 2. In fact, it's a whole 1 on default snapping right here, so we could just place in another 1 like so and another 1 in like so. And then the beauty of these pieces right here is that if we go into a 1/2 snapping right here, we could just bring this into the middle and raise this up by 2 and And there you go, you've got a giant pyramid, which is how I've done this right here, overlapping. It's actually quite simple when you think about it. It's just, you know, wrapping your head around it, isn't it? And the final little piece right here is we want to grab this window like so, and we just want to place that in right like that. And if we just open this up, we then want to grab this window right here, and on no snapping, just bring that up until it's like that. And of course, we want to paint that the exact same as what we did before, like so. And then our final piece right here is that we want to grab our flower bed like so. We want to color it just the normal wood, and I'm using these red flowers like this. You can use any colored flowers you want. You can use blue, yellow, green. It kind of depends on what your actual, you know, I guess logo color is and what the vibe of your place is, but I feel like this red is always just a good fit no matter what. It's a very nice generic color, you know, like kind of roses, all that sort of stuff, and it just works quite well here. And I guess while we're at it, we might as well get this tower right here done. So what we want to do is, this is actually more simple than you think, because all we want to do is grab our wall right here, and if we go onto this piece right here, we just want to grab this and go on to 22.5 degrees snapping, and if we rotate that twice, we just bring that up by 1, 2, 3, and then if we just go into here, we can bring this along on just default snapping like so. Bring this along, not on global, we need to go back onto relative. Bring this along like this, rotate this round by 45 degrees, place one in there and one in there, and we could just bring that up like so. Just bring it up like you normally would right here, and of course we just want to paint everything the right colors. This first three right here, oh no, this first three right here needs to be the cobblestone, but it's literally as simple as that. And to actually do our wooden part right here, we just want to add an extra 3 on top using our wooden planks texture and color right here. So just 1, 2, 3 on like so. Rotate that round, place it in like that, and there you go. You just want to bring these down all along as well. Make sure you paint all of that, of course, into the right colors. And then we have, I'm sure you're all sick of doing by now, but we now need to add in our poles right here going around the edges. Now this is a little bit more difficult because we're actually on an angle right here, so all you just need to do is go into primitives and just scroll along until we can find our little pole right here. I'm pretty sure it's all the way at the start, so it's a little bit of a scroll right here, but yeah, we just grab our primitive cuboid right here and go onto a quarter snapping. We can just bring that in right there and right there. Bring that up by 3, and then of course we just need to add in our poles as usual. I'm just going to skip this because I'm sure you can work out how to place some poles in. We've done it so many times. And there we go, we've got all our cylinder and poles in, so we just want to color those like we usually would, like so. And then instead of roof trims right here, what we're actually going to do is we're going to use our cylinder pole things right here, which is a little bit different, but it's so that it keeps in line with this and because it's a big tower. So all we want to really do is just bring this down by a quarter right here. You'll still get a tiny little gap, but you're barely going to notice it, and you just want to place in these cylinders going all the way along, just as we have done over here. Of course, just bring those all the way around the tower. And one little tip is that this roof will actually stick through right here, but I don't think we even need this roof. So if you do have a roof sticking through, delete it. If you do need it, which I don't think we do right here, but if you do work out that you need it, just, you know, slightly move it back in and you'll be fine. And then for our roof right here, we're basically going to do the exact same thing that we did right here. So what we can do is just come in here and search for our pyramid right here, not pyramid. And we just want to place this in basically the exact same as we've already done. We just want to make sure that we are on a quarter snapping, and from this center point right here, just bring this out by 2 on either side like so, and just bring this around. You already know how to do this, so, you know, not really much point in showing you. And then finally, to end off this tower right here, we obviously just want to add in our windows, which we want to do basically the exact same thing that we've done right here. So we just want to come in, grab our windows by scrolling all the way along, and we just want to place them in basically the same. You can probably guess this by now because we've already done it on the other tower, so I'm just gonna do that. And there you go. Once you've colored all your pieces and placed them in right here, you should have something like this. But the last thing I'm gonna show you for today's video is how to do these flags right here, because we're gonna do the back and the sides in the next video, but I will show you how to do these flags real quick because they are very simple to do. So all we want to do is just come into primitive, scroll all the way along until we find this very small pole right here, and then we just want to make sure we're on a quarter snapping right here. Or not that one, actually, we want to find the circular one. Whoops. That's a very easy mistake to make. And if you just bring this down by 1, 2 like so, and just add an extra one on like that. So make sure if you're from the top right here, but if you just basically almost sink it into the actual roof and then go like, you know, 1, 2 into it like that, and then a full one on top, you should hopefully get an alright, you know, level for your flag. Really, you can place these at whatever level you want. You could, you know, make these massively tall and stick up miles, or you could just go with whatever just feels best, honestly. Just do whatever you think is going going to look best right here. And we can just place in another one like that. You can place these in wherever you want, of course. You can place in more of them if you want, less of them if you want, but I'm just going to place in the ones that I want. To paint them right here, we want this gray right here and metal. We just want to paint those all in like so very quickly. And then to actually cap off the top of them and making them look a little bit more like flagpoles, we just want to search up cylinder right here. No, it's not cylinder. Just go into the starter primitives and we can see it. Here's a sphere. That's what it's called. My brain just went, what? But we just want to grab the smallest one right here and bring this up on no snapping until we're basically about halfway through. You could probably do that off of no snapping, but if you want to make this absolutely perfect right here, I recommend just going on to no snapping and just bringing it up until it feels like it's at a good point. And now you've placed all those in, we can finally put all of our flags in. So to do that, we're actually just going to use this little hanging flag thing right here. And what I recommend doing is actually making all your flags go the same direction. This is something that I see a lot of people making mistakes on. Wind only goes in one way, so most of the time in real life, all the flags will be pointing pretty much the same way, especially when they're all this close. So what I actually recommend doing is making sure that all your flags do go the same way. So once you actually choose one, say we go for this one right here and we scroll along for our hanging flag when I find it. Hello, where is it? There it is. Once you actually choose how and where to place in your flag, so say we want to do this one at a 22.5 degree angle, which by the way, if you want to just do that, rotate it around from this point and bring it around. If we want to do that, you have to do a 22.5 degree angle for the rest of them right here as well, because if you don't, then they'll all be going different ways and that just looks really unrealistic. So make sure that you're doing the exact same for all of them right here. And then what you can do is actually just, you know, put in your flag decal right here. Now, what I am going to provide down below to make your life a little bit easier is I'm going to provide a couple different country flags. I've got like 30 different country flags, so there should be a link down below to like a Google Doc with all of those, you know, decal codes in them right there and that sort of stuff. And I'll also, if I remember, add a template right here with this actual like wavy stuff in paint.net, because that's a free program that you could use, and in Photoshop if I also remember to do that as well, hopefully. If not, remind me, but I'll also try and remember to place that in right like that. And then you can actually make your own flags with your own logos by just putting that overlay on top of it. It'll also give you the right size and aspect ratio and stuff like that, but after you've done that, just put them on these right here and you've got your flag. But yeah, at this point, if you'd like to, you can actually just copy this side over to here as well if you'd like. Of course, we haven't actually finished the back, so you may want to wait until the next episode where we actually show you how to finish this back and actually get everything complete right here. I'm very sorry this has had to be split into 3 episodes, but if you do want to, you can start to copy this over to this other side and that'll give you something quite big to do. But that's all for today's video. Here's all the lovely channel members and Discord server boosters on the screen. Thank you all so much for supporting me. If you'd like to become a channel member, you can do so by clicking that little join button down below. It's only 99p or $1.30 a month, and you get loads and loads of perks like early access to all my videos, early access to Showcase Your Park streams, sneak peeks, shoutouts, and so much more. So, you know, please consider checking that out if you'd like to support me a little bit extra. But of course, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and, you know, hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when the next part of this series comes out so that you can finish your entrance. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you all have a very, very lovely day, and I will see you all in another one. Goodbye!